So the applications in medicine of biotechnology, the third application we are studying now, that is the molecular diagnosis. What is the meaning of diagnosis? In order to identify or detect the disease, right? So usually when disease is caused to the body of human beings, the doctors are going to identify the disease which is caused to the body, infection which is caused to the body, mainly based on the what is that, symptoms shown, right? So you can very well relate to the present situation, present scenario because of the COVID, right? So people are being tested based on what symptoms, correct? No, these are all the words which are being used on daily basis today. Maybe it can be easily understood for you people rather than any other batch, because you have gone through the situation of COVID and you have been listening to these words, right? So here diagnosis is mainly based on the symptoms. That is the normal diagnosis in the field of medicine. But the usage of biotechnology has led us to go to the molecular level of diagnosis. That means checking at the level of the DNA or the RNA. That means we are going to subject the DNA or the RNA to the molecular level of techniques, and well before the symptoms arrive, we will understand whether the infection or whether the disease has been spread or not. And by doing so, we can definitely take the preventive measures well in prior. That is the benefit of this one. And usually we make use of three different techniques, such as the recombinant DNA technology, PCR, and enzyme linked immunosorbent assay called ELISA, right? These three techniques are commonly used. What is the meaning of this? See, you already have learnt about these two, that is the recombinant DNA technology, and PCR, that is the polymerase chain reaction. Both these processes you have already learnt in the process of the biotechnology principles and processes. There, in the recombinant DNA technology, while making a recombinant DNA and inserting that into the animal cell to see how it reacts, whether it has really infected with that or not, whether it is sensitive to the infection or not, various aspects can be studied by the help of making the recombinant DNA, right? So anyway, we are going to study that in detail with the other detail called transgenic animals. I will explain that to you in detail when we go to the next section. But PCR, how can we make use of the PCR technique in order to identify the disease at the molecular level? We know that means we are in the PCR technique, we are going to produce many copies of the DNA, right? So we are going to fragment DNA. We are going to cut the fragments of the DNA by making use of the nucleases, maybe exonuclease or endonuclease, right? And by the action of the nucleases, whatever the fragments we get, we run the many cycles of the PCR, we produce many copies of it, and then we will look for the nitrogen based sequences, and we can actually have the proteins produced by them, and we can process those fragments of the DNA for the further analysis and see whether they are producing any toxicant or not, whether the DNA of the foreign or the pathogen organism has already entered into this cell or not, right? So andre one cell ಒಳಗಿರುವ DNA ನ ತಗೊಂಡು ನಾವು PCR ಗೆ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ all the DNA fragments are they are amplified, and now we can have many fragments of the DNA, and easily we will be able to identify which one is what, right? ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾವುದು ಫಾರಿನ್ DNA ಹೌದು ಯಾವುದು ಅಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. That is how the PCR will help. So even before the symptoms arrive, at the molecular level, we will identify whether the DNA is there or not, and if it is there, immediate actions can be taken. Then enzyme-linked immunosorbent assay, which is mainly used, it is the technique. It is mainly used in patients with AIDS. That is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome anta kariteve, which is the infection caused by HIV, human immunovirus. Correct? No? So people with AIDS, they are treated with such a technique called enzyme-linked immunosorbent assay, and this functions based. It mainly functions based on antigen antibody interaction, antigen antibody reactions. Andre they are going to test, they are going to detect the antigens. That means whether the cells are in the body of the patient who is suspected, whether he has HIV antigen idea, that is the pathogens idea, adannu nodtare by making use of this test. Or they also look for the antibody, that means HIV ಗೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರುವಂತಹ antibody ಏನಾದರೂ grow ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ ನೋಡ್ತಾರೆ. So if the antibodies are there, definitely antigen must be there. So by detecting the antigen antibody and by detecting the antigen antibody reactions in the body of the suspected patient, so the diagnosis at the molecular level can be done by making use of ELISA test, right? So like this, different techniques are used, and these are the three main techniques. Apart from that, detection of mutations can also be done by making use of the biotechnological applications here. How is that? We make use of the probes. Probe means it is a single stranded DNA or RNA which is radioactive. So adana radio label madirtivi navu. We are going to radio label a small fragment of the DNA or the RNA. We are going to insert that into the cell, and all the DNA after the cloning of after the amplification, we are going to run it on the gel, and we are going to put it in the system. So iga ee radioactive probe ina tagondirteve navu. So that will be complementary or maybe non-complementary to the some gene. Andre there are genes here, right? There is a sequence of the DNA. This is the sequence of the DNA of one cell. By studying the complete sequence of the DNA, we already know the sequence of the DNA. We have cut them into small fragments. Pratyondu fragment of DNA du namage en gottide, sequence gottide, and we prepare the complementary DNA for all these. Idikke complementary agiruvanta DNA na produce ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತೇವೆ. Okay, and these complementary DNAs are radio labeled. Okay, so we are going to take the cell which is suspected to have the mutation, right? Mutation ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ನಮಗೆ ಯಾವುದು ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ, ಸಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಸೆಲ್ಗಳನ್ನು ತಗೊಳ್ತೇವೆ, and the DNA from that cell will be extracted and it will be cut and it will be PCR subject ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ to produce many copies, and it will be run on the gel, and it will be treated with this probe. DNA ಅಥವಾ DNA ಇದ್ರೆ DNA, RNA ಇದ್ರೆ RNA. Okay, probe ಇಂದ ನಾವು ಟ್ರೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ, so we know we have taken the probe and radio labeled probe. They are radio labeled fragments of the DNA, so they are already complementary to the original DNA of that particular cell. Correct? No? Definitely they will go and they will be what is that? They will be forming the double stranded DNA because of the complementarity base pairs. But mutation ಆಗಿರುವಂತಹ fragment of the DNA ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ, that will not have any probe there because we don't know. So we have not fed this system with that probe which can be complementary to the mutated gene. By that we can identify whether the mutation has happened or not. So this is another biotechnological application in the field of medicine to identify the mutation, right? So this is all about the applications of biotechnology in the field of medicine. Now let's go for another important application of biotechnology, that is the production of transgenic animals. Why do we produce the transgenic animals? What is the advantage of using the transgenic animals, and for what purpose they are being used? That is what we are going to study. First, let us see what are transgenic animals. I have already told you, genetically modified crops are genetically modified organisms. ಈ ಪದಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವು ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸಿದ್ದೇವೆ, right? That means the organism in which the genes have been modified to get an interested yield or desired product. That organism will be called as what? Genetically modified organism, GMO, right? Maybe a plant or an animal. Same. Transgenic animals are the animals that have had their DNA manipulated. DNA ಅಲ್ಲಿ change ಮಾಡಲಾಗಿದೆ. It is altered, maybe to have an extra fragment of the DNA or extra gene. Maybe a gene is removed or replaced by some other by a process, and so manipulated to process and express an extra or foreign DNA or gene. Okay, so ಒಂದು ಫಾರಿನ್ DNA ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ ಆ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ. ಅಂಥ ಒಂದು ಅನಿಮಲ್ ಗೆ the animal whose cells have been inserted with the foreign DNA or the gene, and this animal has to express that particular gene in its body and show different characteristic according to that. Such an animal will be called as transgenic animal anta karitare. Now we mainly produce the transgenic animals for 5 main reasons. According to the syllabus, we have got 5 main reasons that explain us why we actually produce the transgenic animals. The first one, to study the normal physiology and development. That means, if at all, if the transgenic genes are there, if at all, if something has to be, some alteration has to be made in the body of human beings, then it will be first tested in the animals, and that is the major process, major reason why we prepare the transgenic, why we produce the transgenic animals here, right? Or sometimes maybe to get important biological products. So in this case, in order to see whether if I put this particular gene of interest into this animal, how does it behave? ಈಗ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಮಂಕಿ ತಗೊಳ್ತೇವೆ ಅಥವಾ ರ್ಯಾಟ್ ತಗೊಳ್ತೇವೆ, ರ್ಯಾಬಿಟ್ ತಗೊಳ್ತೇವೆ. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಇಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಈಸ್ ಬಿನ್ ಡನ್? ಈಗ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್ ಅನ್ನೇ ತಗೊಂಡು ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಸೋ ಕ್ರೂಯಲ್. ವಿ ಡೋಂಟ್ ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಅಪಾನ್ ಅವರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್. ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಆನ್ ಅದರ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್. ಅದನ್ನ ಬಲಿಪಶುವನ್ನಾಗಿ ಮಾಡಿ, ಇಫ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಸಕ್ಸಸ್ಫುಲ್ ಅಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ಅದು ನಮ್ಮ ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ, ಇಫ್ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಸಕ್ಸಸ್ಫುಲ್ ದೇರ್, ದೆನ್ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಇಟ್ ಆನ್ ಅವರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಸ್, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಲೈಕ್ normal physiology ಹೇಗೆ affect ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, development of the body of the organism, how it will be affected if at all if a foreign gene is inserted. That is what is checked, and that is one reason. Second reason, to study the diseases, mainly the genetic disorders, maybe other diseases also, right? So that means by altering the genetic makeup of an organism, ಒಂದು ಅನಿಮಲ್ದು ಜೆನೆಟಿಕ್ ಮೇಕಪ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಥವಾ ಆಲ್ಟರ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಮುಖಾಂತರ, ವಿ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಅಡ್ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಅಂಡ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಪುಟ್ ದಟ್ ಅನಿಮಲ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ವೇರಿಯಸ್ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಸಿ. ಸೊ ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಅದು ಇನ್ಫೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗಿರುವಂತಹ, ವಿ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಕಾಸ್ ದ ಇನ್ಫೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಟು ದಟ್ ಅನಿಮಲ್. ಓಕೆ, ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ವಿ ಕಾಸ್ ದ ಇನ್ಫೆಕ್ಷನ್, ವಿ ಮೇಕ್ ದ ಅನಿಮಲ್ ಟು ಡೆವಲಪ್ ದ ಡಿಸೀಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ವಿ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಆಲ್ಟರ್ ದಟ್ ಜೀನ್. ಸೊ ಅಂಡ್ ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಚೆಕ್ how is it going to respond to that disease, how is it going to cure that disease, what is that, how actively it's going to participate, or how actively it's going to accept, or how actively it's going to get cured from that disease. ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, that is the study of diseases. That means transgenic animals can be produced to study the diseases, mainly the diseases such as the cancer, cystic fibrosis, rheumatoid arthritis and Alzheimer's diseases are usually tested with the help of this particular technique. The next most important use is to get the important biological yield or biological products. Maybe of course this can be applied for the animals, plants also, but here we are talking specifically with respect to the transgenic animals. ಇಂದ ನಾವು ಯಾವ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ತಗೊಳ್ತೇವೆ? ಲೈಕ್ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ಮೇ ಬಿ ಇನ್ಸುಲಿನ್ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ಎನಿ ಅದರ್ ಹಾರ್ಮೋನ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ಎನ್ಸೈಮ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಎನಿ ಅದರ್ ಕೆಮಿಕಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ, ರೈಟ್? ಆರ್ ಎನಿ ಅದರ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಬಯಾಲಜಿಕಲ್ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ. ಲೈಕ್ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ಹಿಯರ್ alpha 1 antitrypsin is a hormone which is used to treat emphysema. Okay, that can be produced by transgenic animals. That means ಒಂದು animal ನಲ್ಲಿ the gene responsible for the alpha 1 antitrypsin is inserted to get the desired product, and it can be used to treat emphysema. Similarly, we can use the different techniques. I mean, similar techniques are used also to treat the phenylketonuria, which is a lung-related disease. Cystic fibrosis also are treated. These two diseases also can be treated by getting some important biological products, by inserting or altering the gene or genetic makeup. And one more important discovery, or one more important step in this regard was, in the year 1997, they produced a transgenic cow, hasu. It was named as Rosie. And it was one very important step it can be called as a milestone in the regard of the production of the transgenic animals, because see, many babies, they will be deceived because of the mother will not be able to feed the breast milk. The mother's milk will not be available for the babies in many cases, right? The mother may be unhealthy, mother may be infected with some virus, maybe she might be having the AIDS. So there may be many variety of reasons for which the baby might be deceived by the mother's milk. Mother's milk is very important to the baby, mainly because it will consist of alpha 1 alpha lactalbumin. Alpha lactalbumin is the protein which is very important for the development of the baby in that young condition, which is actually supplemented by mother's milk. But now cow's milk kotre, that protein is absent in the cow milk. But here Rosie was actually what it was altered. The gene of the Rosie was altered, which was actually altered by inserting that gene. Human gene which was responsible for the production of the alpha lactalbumin was inserted in the body of Rosie, and it was made to produce what? The alpha lactalbumin. Eshtu per liter 2.4 grams of that protein was produced, and the problem of breastfeeding by mother was solved. That means the mothers who cannot breastfeed their children, so can be supplemented with such milk obtained from the transgenic cow. The first ever such transgenic cow was called as Rosie. This can be an important 1-mark question. Okay, so entire animals, transgenic animals, the uses ಕೇಳಬಹುದು for 5 marks. It is a very rare question, but biological products ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕೇಳಬಹುದು, study of diseases ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕೇಳಬಹುದು. These can be important 1 mark 2 mark questions. Then another use is vaccine safety. Of course, both of these they come under the same category. Vaccine safety, last one chemical safety and toxicity testing or toxicity testing ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ. In this case, vaccine safety, we can consider one example. The monkeys or the rabbits or the rats, their genetic makeup is altered mainly to test the vaccine before it is being tested on the human beings, like the polio vaccine, like the corona vaccine, right? See, ಕೊರೋನಾ ಕೂಡ ಈಗ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ವಿ ನಾವು ಅಲ್ವಾ, PCR ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಈಗ ಕೊರೋನಾಗೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಅಲ್ವಾ. PCR ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಯಾಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಟು ಡಯಾಗ್ನೋಸ್ ದ ವೆದರ್ ದ ಇನ್ಫೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಈಸ್ ದೇರ್ ಎಟ್ ದ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್, ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಡಿಟೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದು. Coming back to this one, vaccine safety. Any vaccine, if it is prepared before it is being administered to the human beings, we make the animals alter their genes. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಬಾಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿರುವಂತಹ ಕೆಲವು ಜೀನ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಸೊ animal ಬಾಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕಿ we make the transgenic animals and we see how if that same vaccine, if it is given to the human beings, what reaction or how the impact can be, whether it can be successful or unsuccessful anta nodtare. Only if it is successful, then it will be given to the human beings. That is checking the vaccine safety. The chemical safety is also like that only. Many chemicals which have to be administered to the human beings, maybe as a medicine, maybe or maybe as something else, right, will be tested. It's also called toxicity testing, right? It will be tested on the transgenic animals first, and then it can be used on the human beings, right? So these are all the applications. So what all applications we have learned? Applications of biotechnology in the field of agriculture, mainly for the producing of the pest resistant plants by BT cotton and RNA interference technique. And we have studied the other aspect, that is the which one, biotechnological applications in the field of medicine, in the preparation of human insulin, in the gene therapy and in molecular diagnosis, right? And we have studied about the applications of biotechnology by producing the transgenic animals. These are all the applications of transgenic animals. Now we are left with the last part of this chapter. But after studying all these applications, after knowing about everything about the biotechnology, now we need to be aware ethically. The technology is so advanced, but where to use it, how to use it without affecting the nature, without going against the nature, is what we need to understand under the ethical issues of biotechnology. See, the advancements in the field of science as well as in the field of biotechnology, of course applicable to this one also, these advancements can be both boon and bane. They can be beneficial if used in appropriate and correct way. They can be it can be the same, the technology, it can be the same technology or same advancement in the technology can be a bane or can be a threat to the mankind if it is used inappropriately, incorrectly. See, one best example for this one is the nuclear bombs. The production of nuclear energy is a great invention and a great benefit if it is used in the correct way. If it is used in the other way for the destruction purpose, imagine the world would be demolished, the world would be destructed within seconds by the usage of nuclear power. Right? So, when we make use of biotechnology for altering the genes in different animals like this, also can be done, also it is tested and proved, it is also can be done for human beings. But if it is used for the good purpose, it is well and good. If the same thing is used for bad purposes, so such imaginations have already been used in movies. So you might have seen the movies like the Batman or the Spider-Man, all these are genetic modifications. Even the Krish 3 movie, if you have watched it, he will be having the genes from different animals and he can have the characteristics of those animals. So he will be having, the villain will be having the longest lizard, like longest, what is the tongue, like that of the chameleon or the lizard, right? So he can fly, all that, See, these modifications, of course, they are hard to believe, maybe true for movies only, but there is nothing impossible if the advancement, with the advancement of technology, with the work of human beings in this regard. That is why, in order to stop the, misuse of the resources, misuse of the technology, especially in the field of biotechnology, they have formulated a set of rules, and so it is what is called the committee which will decide on the approval and the safety, whether to release it to the market or not. The different products, the safety of the different products and authorization of the different products prepared by biotechnology techniques is actually has to be approved by Genetic Engineering Approval Committee of Government of India. This is applicable only for India. So remember the full form of GEAC, Genetic Engineering Approval Committee. It can be an important 1-mark question. Also, they may ask you, give the function of GEAC. What is that? To control the release of the products produced by biotechnology and to have the to safeguard or to look into the safety of these biological products which have to be released into the market. Now, this is not only the ethical issue here. Other ethical issues also are connected with this. One more thing is a problem of the patenting. You know what is the meaning of patent? Patent means it's a kind of ownership on something that you invent or on something that you make or discover, right? If you make a product, or if you make something which is something completely new, novel, right? Then it can be patented by your name. ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು machine construct ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, right? Or if you design a car completely of new model which is nowhere else in the world, first time ever you are doing anta helidre, then that technology, that product, that design can be patented in your name. Patenting will give you all the rights. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈಗ ಆ ಮಾಡೆಲ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಆ ಕಾರ್ ಮಾಡೆಲ್ ಅನ್ನು ನೀವು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಕೂಡ royalty amount has to be given to you. That means without your permission, without your authorization, nobody can use it. Only if you sell the patent, only if you sell the partial authority, other companies can make use of it. In order to produce it in large scale, or in order to do any modifications to that, or in order to whatever to do with that particular product of yours, your patent will have complete authority with you. It will make to have you having complete ownership on your product, right? Similar thing will also be the same thing, actually not even similar, the same thing. It is also problematic. Why it is problematic here? Especially in the field of biology, in biotechnology, the biological resources that are there in a country, right? Like, for example, we Indians have been using so many traditional plants Like it can be turmeric, it can be tulsi, right? It can be ashwagandha, it can be sarpagandha, right? There are so many plants that we have been using since time immemorial, and we have the traditional knowledge about these. We might not be knowing the chemical nature of that, what are the biochemicals present in that, and we might not be knowing the scientific aspect of that. But we definitely know ಟರ್ಮರಿಕ್ ಅನ್ನು ತಗೊಂಡು ನೀವು ಗಾಯಕ್ಕೆ ಹಾಕಿದರೆ ಗಾಯ ವಾಸಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ತುಳಸಿಯನ್ನು ನೀವು ಕಷಾಯ ಮಾಡಿ ಕುಡಿದ್ರೆ ಕೆಮ್ಮು ವಾಸಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಶುಂಠಿ ಅರಿಶಿನ ನೀವು ಕುಡಿದ್ರೆ ಕೊರೋನಾನೇ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ these some of these what knowledges, traditional knowledges that we have today, so these have been passed on from generation to generation in a country like India, but we do not have any patent over it, right? We just have the knowledge, but a third person coming from outside country can take advantage of this one, and that is what is happening now. Like aloe vera, tulsi, and around in India 2 lakh or 2 million varieties of rice are there in India. Rice is originally belongs to the Asian continent, right? It originated in China, right? And it was distributed to various countries of the Asian continent, right? Then American people, some American company claims that there is a particular variety of basmati which is owned by those people, and other people have to take the permission from them in order to make use of that, or in order to alter the genetic modification, alter the genetic makeup of that rice, right? So this is so ridiculous, because we in India have documented 27 different varieties of very fragranceful, very aromatic rice called basmati, and we have not claimed any patent over it. And that is why an American company in the year 1997, and it prepared a new variety by taking use of the basmati variety from farmers variety of basmati in India. They crossed it with another variety of rice called a semi-dwarf variety of their own country, and they produced a new variety, and now they claim that this is our own patented product, and in order to make use of this you need our permission. So is it fair? Definitely unfair. That is why, so it is very important to have the patents over the natural resources that we have got. It is very important for us to have the knowledge about our natural resources, right? Then this is one problem. Another problem is of biopiracy. Biopiracy means, see, piracy stands for what? Stealing, ಕಳ್ತನ ಮಾಡೋದು. Biological ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ಗಳನ್ನು, biological ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಕಳ್ತನ ಮಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದು. Like many what is that, MNCs, multinational companies, multinational organizations ಏನಿದೆ, especially like Hindustan Unilever Limited ಅಥವಾ ಮತ್ತು ಯಾವುದೋ ಕಾಸ್ಮೆಟಿಕ್ ಕಂಪನಿ, right? These companies, such companies, not exactly those companies, but many such companies, MNC companies, what they do, these countries are based in countries which without much traditional knowledge, without much natural resources or biological resources. And these companies, they actually visit countries like India with vast, what is that, biological resource and traditional knowledge without patent. Now they make use of that without proper what authorization, ಆ ಕಂಟ್ರಿಯ authorization ನ permission ಇಲ್ಲದೆ, ಆ ಪೀಪಲ್ಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ ಆಗಿ ಕಂಪೆನ್ಸೇಷನ್ ಕೊಡದೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು. This is what is called as what? Biopiracy, right? And in order to prevent, of course, there are many issues that have been raised around the world, and for India also it has been a great loss, mainly on products like aloe vera, what is that, this thing, tulsi, right? And also the ashwagandha. There are many products. They are actually bioresources of India, but other companies have patented it. So Indian Parliament has passed or amended, it had a second amendment in the Indian Patents Bill in order to include those problems, such problems associated with biopiracy, not only having the patenting but also having the what is that, the Second Amendment Act also concentrated on the biopiracy, and it also made some modifications to look into the safety and regulation of the patenting rules, the permission to be given, all that was taken care in the Second Amendment of the Indian Patents Bill. So This is how the ethical issues of biotechnology are addressed. By this, we have completed the biotechnology and its application chapter, and the notes of this chapter will be later given. I hope by now the biotechnology principles and processes notes must have already reached to you people, and by the time you get this video, I think you will also receive the notes of this particular chapter, right? And by this, I have completed my syllabus for this year. I have completed my duty, so henceforth your duty will start.